The consequences of not doing what you know is right. So there's a quote by Jordan Peterson which is, there is a cost to doing something and there is a cost to not doing it. And in my opinion, this is 100% true, and it gave me a whole new respect actually for the idea of hell. And essentially what he says is, if you don't do what you know is right, so you ignore it or you don't do it, you end up creating a kind of self-hating personal hell for yourself. And I think everybody can identify with this. One time, for example, I sat in a restaurant that had sharks in a tank, right? So, little sharks that were in a fish tank. And this was in Thailand, and, I had a meal there because I felt it was too inconvenient for me to find another place. So I'd been there with my girlfriend, and, we sat down, and then we noticed they had this, tank full of, sharks. And, looking back at that, I regretted not walking out because it was clearly, animal cruelty, and, I supported that restaurant. But the fact that I stayed there, made me create a small personal hell for myself because I hated myself for not walking out, really. And I think the more that we do things like this, where we don't do what we know is right, the more of this personal hell that we create. And things like lying, cheating, stealing, doing morally bad things, these all contribute to this idea of hell. And Jordan Peterson is a Christian and I'm an atheist, but it gives me a respect to the meaning of hell, because before I had thought of it as a physical place, but now I can understand that a hell can be a personal, psychological place that you put yourself into if you don't do what you know is right or what is immoral. And of course, confronting these situations and running headfirst into situations where you know you have to do the right thing but it's difficult, that takes bravery for sure. But there is a cost that is probably worse than having to sum up the courage at the time that you have to face. And I've had to do this as well. So, but I've known that if I hadn't done that, if I haven't stepped up and stood up for myself or for somebody else, then I would hate myself for not doing that. So yeah, there is a consequence to not doing the right thing. And I found this to be one of the most interesting takeaways from the book. Another amazing takeaway from the book, actually, 12 Rules for Life, which is fantastic. And I have more videos on it. I have another video explaining why you should turn chaos into order and all of these things, so definitely check that out as well.